It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way.
Aha, aha, ha, ha. Greetings and welcome to Context Matters. The date is a day in June. Yeah, June 5th, 2025, and you are tuned into Context Matters. So, interesting topic for you today. As soon as I can figure out what's going on with the TikTok, somebody tell me how to flip this screen. Yeah, we got it. Here we go now. Yeah, so as I was saying, interesting topic. I chose this topic for obvious reasons. It seems like my podcast has become an election, what do you call that now? An election platform, but for obvious reasons. I am the candidate for Portland Eastern. That's one of two constituencies in Jamaica, in Portland, and I can tell you, I'm in the East. So, you remember the Wizard of Oz? How ironic. You throw water on the Wicked Witch of the West. And you saw what happened. They melt. But anyway, what I want to talk about more than anything is really this whole everything that happens in Jamaica has to do with the Constitution. I want people to appreciate that. Nothing about human existence can exclude human rights and the human element. I want people to have an appreciation of this because it appears that in some spaces, people seem to not appreciate how important human rights is. Well, society as a whole, in any country, they have governance, and so there's a distinct. In some societies, there is democracy, authoritarianism, totalitarianism, and there is religious ruling or leadership, and then there are societies. Somebody says my cap is foggy. Is it foggy on? Is the camera foggy on YouTube or is it foggy on TikTok? Somebody tell me that because it's clear as day right here. So I'm not sure what you're seeing. Melissa Green, help me out with that. Oh, YouTube. It might be the stream. Somebody says Miriam says yes. So it may be the stream. I can't control the stream in terms of the quality of the internet. At least, yeah. So doing my best to see how best that works. Somebody said it's all clear on TikTok. Yeah. So what has happened is I'm gonna give you the short version, and yeah, I can tell you this. Today is a very hot day, but still a great day. But here's what I wanna say or what I wanna share is if people are the most important thing, I'm gonna say a thing, because sometimes when it comes to English language, we either objectify or subjectify that which we speak of. But noun, say person, place, person, this or thing. But here's what I want people to understand. If when we think of the country Jamaica speaks about the beautiful island that is surrounded by water and the fresh trees and the fruit trees and the minerals and the just the richness, white sand, beaches, large bodies of water internally. So you have waterfalls, you have rivers, you have all kind of things. And when we think of these things, we say, okay, wow, this is just so beautiful. Um, yeah, and we start to love everything when we speak about Jamaica. And in fact, the tourism ads goes from Bob Marley to now Usain Bolt, and who is the ambassador to tell people welcome to Jamaica. And then you have from place to place, you have the rafting, you have all these everything that is luxury to the point where you can go I hashtag I live where you vacation, and people all over the world in other countries who live miserable lives in apartments, and then they have snow from time to time, and life is just horrible in the places. They work hard and then they use their money and they come to Jamaica, which is paradise. So when we think about Jamaica, we say Jamaica is this clearly and obviously a beautiful country. No one can take that away from us. But notice when we say Jamaica, we're speaking about the island and not necessarily the people. So when somebody says choose Jamaica, what they have done, and I mean, let's be clear now. With elections, if the prime minister has any competence, the election has to be called in July. Anything outside of July is, and let me make this clear: if it's not called in July, then it's just throwing the towel. PNP is clearly the next government. So when July ends, if the election isn't called, PNP is the next government. Mark Golden, congratulations in advance. But we have clear campaign slogans, and they have evolved and they have come into many things. And then you go all across the country, the places painted green and orange and all kind of things for you to read on poster boards and small boards and banners and billboards, and they're saying all kind of things. And you driving or walking, you pass these boards. And I apologize in advance for saying this, but I don't know if it's me. I was asking people, so I go and I see all kind of people. I see faces on poster boards that I've never seen and I don't know. And Ishmael, I see you putting up the eyes. Is there something wrong? Say it, because I'm going to assume something is wrong when I see the eyes. So I see these poster boards up, and it have all kind of things about, I mean, promises on it from people who don't look like them can promise nothing. And a lot of big words on there too. And I'm being serious, because the things I see on the boards, and this is not the regular poster board, this is the big one with the manifestos on it, and it's like, I'm going to change your life. Introduction to prosperity. I was driving, and I'm coming from court and coming into Portland, and there's one that says one done. So I know Jamaica suffers from a one done thing, so they play on the word one done, and then I realize it's in a space where the medical board breaches constitutional rights and suspend people, in breach of natural justice. I don't follow these things, but there's a thing that was happening where it was some doctor own a company, and him getting him on the private cover and him get him friend them for import a drill that no matter how you work it, flip it and reverse it, the drill no cost more than $4 million. And then them trick the system and scam the Jamaicans and get them to buy a drill for $31 million. But them not buy it yet because them leave it out there and say, make we see if them are going to miss it. So we not going to pay them yet. But we're going to owe you about 26 or 27 million dollars, and when nobody now look and it gone, we just pay you. And in brethren, another doctor say, oh, the man is a wicked thief, wicked thief. He saw him stay. Him not even educated. Him not even a resident. The boy is a dunce and him have connections. And it went on and on. Of course, I don't know the name of these people because in Jamaica, unless you're a dancehall artist or unless you're a track star, or unless you're doing something individual with God-given talent, you're really a nobody. Oh, my apology. You also could be a politician and then you think you're important somehow. But anyway, so the guy who complained about the other guy, and these are doctors, so they save lives and they take Hippocratic oath to save your life and whatever. And the medical association is a tight-knit group. If they happen to do surgery on you and leave a suture inside of you, trust me, by the time they flip it and reverse it once again, the statute of limitations pass and you can't sue. And medical negligence is the most difficult thing to prove, and they protect each other. That's how close-knit it is. You don't believe me? They just suspend a doctor without a hearing. In breach of natural justice, in breach of due process. And yes, people, if you look into the Constitution, due process is also for civil litigation. It's not only criminals or persons who are allegedly charged of a crime. Once an adverse decision is going to be set out against you, due process is paramount. And if you don't believe me, up to today, the fair hearing within a reasonable time, just the opportunity to be heard before an adverse decision is made against you, that is something protected by the court. The court is the custos morum of the Constitution, and judges have made many decisions, but the most important thing is, at a minimum, there must be a conversation and suspension. I mean, you think about it. There's the nation responds to moral turpitude or selective moral outrage or whatever they call it. There are just some things where self-regulation is also important, but I'll touch on that eventually. So right there and then we see a situation where they punish you for speaking up. You can be punished in Jamaica if you try to express yourself. You can be punished in Jamaica if you for instance, you can be on bail, and whilst on bail, you see children being sexually molested, and you run to the police station and talk, and then people don't want it to be heard because they don't want agency embarrassed, and they take away your bail and lock you up. These things happen in real time. I met two young individuals, father a police officer, and they were locked up. They cannot believe that young people go through this daily. My response to them is, young man, you're lucky. You're lucky that your father is a police officer. Otherwise, they'd just kill you like the young Negroes that you are, because that's where we are in Jamaica. There's a stereotype, and the stereotype leads to ask one simple question. I'm not gonna repeat it, but what does a businessman look like in Jamaica? What does a businessman look like anywhere in the world? Is the way that you're here, because there has been a lot of conversations about whether I should dye my beard, whether I should shave my face, whether my hair is long, and if it's right here and I flick it, if something is wrong and it's not professional, you probably want to cut your hair, because that's not what the stereotypical idea of a professional attorney, a professional businessman, or what a man should look like. And the true answer to that only lies with competence. And places all over the world recognizes that. For instance, it is not until I went to the Privy Council and realized that if the judges in the Privy Council had a choice, they wouldn't even wear a jacket or a tie. They have figured out that competence is about your legal acumen in the law. Same thing for medicine, same thing for any profession. It is your competence that dictates the abilities that you have. Now, there are certain levels of professionalism, but for instance, regulatory bodies. Regulatory bodies are, for one, to ensure that if it's law, that the lawyer not thief client money. And in Montego Bay, there's a man called Clark, and he says that an attorney who is a politician stole land from his family, and he got no redress. And so you have land thief, and you have thief, and you have criminal, and you have corruptionists, you have all kind of people. And there was a lawyer that must have thief Movado property, and by the time he's supposed to defend it, every time he want to try to defend it, you all of a sudden the system coming at him and saying him is a gang leader. The artist is a gang leader. Anyway, drink water and mind my business. That's what them said. But there are spaces where who is supposed to protect you is not protecting you. And so we ask the question, if doctors see other doctors who are being negligent, are they supposed to speak up, or is it no, that's snitch culture and you're not protecting the profession? When lawyers are incompetent, can barely do a bail application, can barely do an appeal, can barely take direction for the court for the betterment of the citizen whom they serve and who is paying them the big money, should they be reported? Legal incompetence and negligence, should it be regulated in such a way that it is almost you have a duty to the client who believe in you to call out incompetence? I'm just putting it out there because when you look at the canons of the profession in law, it's almost as if the most important thing for them is to bully young attorneys and protect senior attorneys. Maybe, I don't know, because right is right and wrong is wrong, and you think that certain things are universal, but also there are political lines, and then it becomes conflated. And then if you're not in Jamaica, you realize that, hey, small town, small country, close-knit people, problems arises. So much so that if ever ex parte Pinochet is a case, the ex-stipendiary magistrate case speaks about where Lord Hoffman's wife must have been a part of a company, and then he gave a judgment, and they said that justice must appear to be done or seem to be done. So there's a way that it must look a certain way. So even if there is no hanky-panky, and even if something is able to be done within the strictures of the law, if it doesn't look right, you find yourself saying that it cannot be allowed to happen. For instance, you're going to do a trial and the judge happens to be the hairdresser who is the witness, happens to be the judge's hairdresser, and she's about to take the stand, to which the judge is going to decide the credibility of the hairdresser. But the hairdresser has to be credible, because when the hairdresser take the glue and put on the wig to make the judge look good, the judge I gonna say, well, she always hooked me up. And some she can't lie. Plus, the other sit down and talk about the other judges and the other people and whatever. Now, this is hypothetical, because I'm of the view that judges will laugh with you tomorrow and have no problem adjudicating against you. But that's me, because I believe in the justice system a different way. But the appearance of it is that when the hairdresser testifies and the judge says, I believe her, then people is going to go away and say, you can't get justice in the court because our hairdresser and them a friend. And she believe her and she never did go believe me. And so it is unjust and we want justice. And so that's the idea. So when this Mr. Chung for the FID takes in his role, let me tell you something. Mr. Chung has been around a very long time. He's been at the JUTC, and when some like a hanky-panky did a go on, him resign. Him find himself from JUTC to KFC. Him sit on many boards, and he has done a lot in Jamaica. His service is unchallenged, and he lives up to anything when it comes to other races. So if the Chung is the Chinese in a Chung, him is a true Chinaman, because him open up shop everywhere in the metaphoric sense. And his integrity is not in question. His ability is not in question, save and except for he's seen riding bicycle with the Prime Minister. And whether it's Move Jamaica, Ride for a Cause, him and the Prime Minister is in close-knit, close circles. And you don't believe me? You can just take a picture with somebody and you don't know the person from nowhere, and then they just say, hey, there was a photo with you and the person, so you must know the person, and therefore you and the person is friend. Even if you never know them. And believe me, in political life, the Prime Minister may get up and say the same thing. I was riding the bicycle and Chung might just happen to be on my left and I don't know him from nowhere. Quite acceptable, except the appearance is enough for persons to say, but what of interest? Because it will never leave the minds of the people. And if you're a simple-minded person like myself, that here it is that the Integrity Commission says that the matter must be referred to FID. FID is underfunded, staff is changed, young councils removed, all kind of things happen. And then here it is, we remove the requirement for you to have a colored background in law enforcement and legal affairs. And that is removed, and right away, Mr. Chung steps in, having said last year that he sees nothing wrong with anything about having 28 bank accounts, and has found a way to justify the 28 bank accounts. Well, I will say this. You can have one bank account and a whole heap of umpy-scumpy, hanky-panky behavior going on in the account. And the Mr. Chung is right. He being an accountant knows best how to do whatever. But what the law does, however, and what the FID does, and what the poker legislation does, is track money and the reverse burden on people to justify how the money moving like that. And if he doesn't see a problem, it means that he has prejudged a matter that he's going to go inside the office and oversee, and has the influence to fire people, remove people, and shut down an investigation. Outside of that, nobody cares what happens, because I can tell you this: the question to the Jamaican people, if Chung had applied and gotten that job and there was nothing going on in Jamaica, he would have had a riotless, protestless venture, because there are many agencies with people who are unqualified to sit in the post that's sitting in the post, because this is small Jamaica and the things get by the way, and people are, majority of Jamaican people, majority of us are just trying to survive. Majority of us are trying to ensure that we have $1,000, and I'm not talking about the $1,000 added to the minimum wage. $1,000 to get some food. There are some of us who are calling our relatives who we think are doing much better than us and asking for $1,000. Trump come into office, and yes, it was so nice that Donald Trump won the election. Go Trump, until you shut down that remittance and start deport the people in more than Jamaica can manage deportation. And then the Western Unions and the MoneyGram, it get low. And our favorite cousin and our favorite brother and our favorite sister and our favorite auntie will always send her money. She a jump from train station and a run from ice. Winter is coming, whatever show that is. And she can't go into the Western Union and she cannot send the money. And so we realize that the sufferation is real. So again, pause for a second. The topic, choose Jamaica. That is a slogan for the Jamaica Labour Party and their third term. Or choose Jamaicans, as in choose change. Change from just worrying about the Jamaican improving, and leaving out the little man, leaving out the black people. Majority of Jamaica is black poor people. Whether you want to trick yourself and feel like you're not in it, but I tell people all the time, and let me make this absolutely clear. Thank God for education. Thank God that my mother, when she was choosing the Rasta man, she never chose a dunce Rasta man. He had brain and aptitude. Yeah, so big up big youth, and she herself, she is the brain box, and I'm combining that to say genetically I was given intellectual capacity. So I see them say beautiful speaking, can't do nothing, and beautiful profession and all of that, can't put food on the table. That is a lie. Because if I were not put into one of the most noblest professions by my ability to be bright and to understand the law and to be able to appear before the CCJ and the Privy Council, me wouldn't be able to go to court and get people off when they're in trouble and get people out of prison and get bail and all of that. So big up to every lawyer, whether them say you're bright or you're dunce, because them say me dunce every day. But we have a profession. And so here's why I'm saying this. Even with this profession, and even as I make money through Jamaican money, that US dollar at 160 something and something like that, I can tell you this. You're not a millionaire until you start making millionaire US money and can in the paper like Vibes Cartel and a whole country open an investigation. Oh, where the minister? I'm gonna open an investigation on how Mr. Palmer get how much US dollars. That's how poor the Caribbean is. They're opening investigations on $1 million US, while Cartel makes 50 million US a show. His ability to make that money, his show can change the trajectory of an economy. Trinidad missed the opportunity to make millions of dollars through Vibes Cartel. And I'm only raising that because to the chief musicians, a psalm of David, David always gave credit and spoke of the chief musicians and those who are talented as opposed to those who are just corrupted and thief. But even with all the money that you make in Jamaica, Jamaican money has no value. And so those who think them rich, them broke like dog. So imagine people who not rich, what them is. Because if you have money and you're still broke, imagine you don't have no money. Where you is brokerer. And so there is a distinction now that we have to look at. And I want people to understand this because I tell you, as the candidate, I have to appreciate the realities that I see in life. And so while it is that people are worried about water in pipe, and I saw the video with the lady and I saw how she felt, and she's talking to the prime minister and she never shake him hand. Well, I'm in a constituency where many Laborites are angry at their MP, but are loyal to their party, and so they wouldn't shake my hand. When they don't do that, I hug them up and I show them love regardless. And I'm not offended by it because I am a little bit more intellectually stable, and my education, I actually read for my degree and I sat in a classroom. I just said I sat, and I earned my degree with first class honors. That's a very important thing because no nepotism and no links gave me my education. I'm just leaving that right there. But it also brings us to speak about how we're seeing each other and how we're viewing each other. Because if somebody exercises their right not to speak to you, who are you to say the person out of order? And why do you think that whether you're the prime minister, whether you're a candidate or whoever you think you are, that people can't be themselves and you're going to beg them vote and they say, I don't want to talk to you, and you're upset? I mean, for me, differently, if you diss me, I'm going to diss you back. And then they're going to say, oh, I'm so out of order. But like I say, situation ethics has always been the road that Jesus has traveled. And I think Jesus is the best person to try to emulate. And although he was not man, but superior to and incapable of sinning, so they say, I understand where the shortcomings come, but try to live a life like Jesus. And it's a situation ethics. So Jesus wasn't going around healing every sick, but when he heal you, you were deserving of it. So Jesus said, choose your battles, so I choose mine. What I don't do, though, is to fall into the fool's trap and comment and try to set a narrative for everything. Nobody, no more than nobody. So when you say choose Jamaica, you have excluded the people, and you are saying to the people in the most disingenuous way, forget about your suffering. Forget about the fact that generations have passed and nobody in your family owns a piece of Jamaica. Them name, no depend title. Throw that out. We are trying to ensure that our families can drive around Jamaica and don't have to interface with you, the poor people. So choose Jamaica and allow us to let the white people and the Chinese people and all the other people that are not Jamaica come to Jamaica and spend their money so we can continue to develop Jamaica. And if you're in Portland, we can turn Blue Lagoon into Sandals Blue Lagoon and keep the Negroes off from making money. We can close parochial roads, parish council roads, and keep them for the superior class, even if it means that some of you will suffer, because the utilitarian concept is the greater good for the greater number. And we are all of the same metal, but some of us are beryllium, some of us are diamonds, and some of us are gold, but some of you are the wood and the water, bush, trash, and shrubbery. Don't size up. So I want people to appreciate that by choosing Jamaica, it's saying, cut off your nose and spite your face. If you're right and offend you by standing up for yourself and the people and your community, chop it off. Because it is Jamaica that we need to make sure that its brand is in a state where no embarrassment comes. So if it means that when people are murdered, murdered, we just leave them in the morgue and don't investigate because we don't want to put it on the murder list. And when a woman is murdered and thrown in a septic tank, we investigate it and we don't call it murder because we don't know how she ended up in the tank, even if she went to visit her boyfriend and she's in the tank next door and in Ghana on a plane and Ghana foreign. Don't call that murder. Don't put it on the list of people of murder. Yes? Even if that is the case. And so we must be in a position to have these conversation, because make no mistake, Mark Golding, who was born in Jamaica, who renounced his British citizenship, even when persons in the Jamaica Labour Party are Canadians and also have British citizenships and all of that, who have either not renounced or in a process of renouncing, or it don't apply to them because they don't want to be the prime minister, and the hypocrisy that comes with it. Even when the Constitution says there's no requirement. And this is the thing about selective morality, because sometimes if people saying, even when the law says it's acceptable, morally it probably isn't. And so you must have an internal locus of control. And this is that internal locus of control that will cause you to say, you know something? I'm choosing Jamaicans. I'm choosing to leave systems in place because I understand the importance of leading by example. And I have these conversations, because everything in life, I keep it real. It's just not some short time ago while doing a high profile case, I quoted the artist. And as I quoted the artist, persons of lower aptitude than myself said I adopted the words or said the words and therefore the words are my own, and they made it somehow illegal to quote literature, quote and put in context, which gave birth to this program, Context Matters. Because I realized a long time ago that selective outrage can cause people to just take things out of context. But what was important for me was to recognize that there were young people, there were men, boys, women, persons who need guidance, who looked up to me. And I saw public outrage, and I took the decision that even if it was not a place in law that something was wrong, to take a particular course. And sometimes you can apologize because something was inappropriate in any context, and time and place for stuff. You don't need a hearing, and you don't need people to make a big thing out of stuff. Or if it rises to that and you didn't appreciate it, you set the particular example. So for instance, if you're thieving money and you are corrupted, and you take government money and you buy your sister a car with the government money, and it's wrong, you resign, go on side, get convicted, and go through a rehabilitation phase, and then you come back. But sometimes if you have friends, you use taxpayers' money to do whatever you do, because some things are more important, because they're choosing Jamaica, not Jamaicans. But I raise this to say that, as simple as this, when leading by example, if you believe in human rights, if you believe in leading by example, I was the chair of the Human Rights Commission of the People's National Party, and I resigned. I was an adjunct lecturer at the University of the West Indies, and I resigned. I am now lecturing at Trenchtown Community College in law, And people might say, why are you doing that? Because children need guidance. Sometimes you must be able to be man enough to walk away from a post, i.e., if there is political controversy and the nation finds it offensive. And this has happened before. Rocky Mead was given a position and he didn't take it because he knew that it was not something to do. And history will reward him and say that he understood that he was going to represent the people. And if you're representing the people and you want to become a creature of the Constitution as a government worker and you have people unhappy, you simply move away from it. And I'm just putting that out there to say that we have to be thinking about people at all times. People is what is important. It cannot be that, and I find it offensive to say choose Jamaica, because when you choose Jamaica, what about Jamaicans? And it's not a play on words, because when the People's National Party says time come for change, it was change because there was 9 years of prosperity. And Jamaica is prosperous, except the people not feeling it. And the Prime Minister now says, give me the third term so I can now include you. But then at the same time saying, choose Jamaica. Let me continue to develop Jamaica. Let me continue to build the roads, and let me continue to take money out of NHT, and let me continue to give away one house. I promised you 70,000 houses and I only got to 14,000, but don't worry. Where did that money go? A plethora of scandals, including I'm unable to certify my statutory declarations. And there's something significant because there are just too many members of parliament currently a part of the government that's having no history of owning a business or being a part of any noble profession that could justify the amount of real estate that they're now owning. And the salaries never came in until a couple of years ago. And I can tell you, the way the money has no value, the salaries from 2023 till now could not account for the level of one MP have 48 apartments and a whole development building for himself. No history of how you got the land. No history of how you get to build this. But then again, we see Dwayne Smith in the news and them saying him owe money. And you would think that this man who was given an uncontested by-election to take over a seat that his father held for many years, that the seat was then given to Dr. Nigel Clark, who has abandoned Jamaica for greener pastures. The irony, has left green Jamaica under his government for greener pastures. Yes, says that somebody. Okay, so I'm not looking at the conversation. So for anybody who is enjoying themselves by putting out offensive rhetoric or offensive comments, I'm not reading them. I'm just having the discussion for people to kind of appreciate what is going on. And Dwayne Smith found himself saying that he owes money and he's being sued for the money. And the irony about that is naturally wherein that says that you are choosing Jamaicans when you find yourself in these situations. But anybody can be in a situation, so I'm not casting any aspersions or trying to say that there's anything untoward. Maybe it is a good thing that he's being sued because it just means that he not thief money. So I'm just putting it out there that in the space, a lot of the things should be left to the court to ventilate before we publicly jump up and create unnecessary rift. But some writings are on the walls, and some things, Jamaican display news. I don't even, right. So anyway, right. Why is the why is the PM breaking so many grounds? When you don't do nothing for 9 years, you're gonna have to try to make it look like you're doing something. And I mean, when you know you're going to lose, if you open up the place and break the grounds and show your vision, it puts you in something to say, well, give him the, if him not getting it this time, so see them a better way to keep him. But that's not the reality. You can't wait till the 11th hour, and that's really what it is, to try to say you're doing something. And you can't lie. In Portland Eastern, the current MP told a big lie that she did Norwich Heights. It's a complete lie, and the polls at the end of the election will show that you can't just spread propaganda. But you see, I don't have to raise an alarm about a big lie, because those who are on the ground know better. And the people who are outside of the constituency that cannot cast a vote can say anything they want. And let me tell you something about aptitude. If you can't sit in a room and negotiate, and to negotiate, you have to appreciate. I'm telling you this. The running a country requires people who have competence. So you see MPs who sit, as they call them, Sfingalis, they call them, it's like social agencies. You can take up, see there, you can take up a mannequin and just put the mannequin in the position, and then you run and you do everything. That's why the Prime Minister have so many ministries in his in the Prime Minister's office, and is able to maneuver, because the people who are the MPs are simply not competent. If he needs somebody to actually do the job, he has to appoint senators, and he has to put them and make them the ministers, because the people around him don't have the competence. And all they can do is cuss me, because it's the truth. Round them up, bring them all together, have them study, give them 30 days to study and SWAT for those who have the competence, and then they can come and debate me. That's a confidence of competence. And you must also know your area and know your abilities. So when you have medical doctors as security ministers, of course, you know that you're in problems. When you have a PR market manager as the health minister, of course he's not going to appreciate that there's something fundamentally wrong with purchasing a drill for $4 million, where you, the government, can import it yourself. You can go on Amazon and purchase the drill, and Amazon ship it to Jamaica, and it gets here and you clear it, and you could have had all those drills. But forget about that. This is a man who could have built at least 14 hospitals, brand new hospitals, and converted C-type hospitals into A-type hospitals, and he spent all the money on Cornwall Regional Hospital, and he opened the opening ceremony for the lobby. So because of this type of incompetence, of course, you're going to break ground everywhere, and you're going to put up zinc, and you're going to go to hardware, and you say, let it look like we are doing something. Let's open the urban center in St. Thomas, and still nobody can. If you're hungry tonight and you have a little money in your pocket, you can't get a piece of KFC out there. And KFC, a labor right own KFC. So I'm stop them that. Yeah, some say, can't afford for them poison me. I have work to do for the people. But you just go around and saying we're doing this, and people forget easily, because there's a 9-day wonder cycle, and local media, having done a very high profile case and gotten exceptional assistance from international media, I can tell you that the media in Jamaica is compromised. I don't look to them for anything. I care zero if they report or they not report, because competence is also important. Bias in media is not journalism. I was a part of the media profession, and I'm just saying it as it is. Tread lightly when you get your information from people who are biased and people who can, just a phone call can have them change how they feel. And there are persons, and they continue to win awards, who their integrity is intact, and they give you the information as raw as it is. But when you start to have reporters who on the side are speech writers and voice trainers for MPs who can barely read and write and who can't talk, and then they are responsible for the news, don't expect the news to tell you the truth. I'm just putting that out there. So when you say choose Jamaica, you understand that people are the government of Jamaica, which is the Jamaica Labour Party, is asking you to choose mediocrity, to choose a campaign that is about making Jamaica look good again. But looking good and what you feel is two different things. Anybody that has celebrated $1,000 on the minimum wage is mentally ill. Not after the announcement of the minimum wage, the Bank of Jamaica decides that they're not even controlling the dollar in a space. So before the minimum wage was raised to $16,000, the dollar is now floating at 160 something. And so whatever you could ever do, whatever you could do in your life to be prosperous, you're not going to be able to do that. And that is the reality. So again, when you start to process what is happening in the Jamaican space, let me tell you, you have to sit and ask several questions. And here's why you choose change. And when I said choose change, because choose change is the PNP slogan. Time come now to choose change. So choose change was the slogan for the People's National Party, and the Jamaica Labour Party's response is choose Jamaica. And here's what they said. When Mark Golding, Julian Robinson, Dayton Campbell when they speak about agriculture, when Julian Robinson speak about finance, and when Mark Golding says, listen, we want $500,000 is going to be given as a grant to young people, and young people is 18 to 30. If you let's just make that clear. 18 to 30 is really young people. But I can go as far as to say that what I understand of life is right up till you're 40, you're young, especially if you're pushing 40 while I'm talking to you and you don't own a house yet. And you're still struggling. You have your kids, you're struggling to find life. And let me tell you something, it's not a lack of ambition, it's a lack of access to opportunity, because Jamaica was operating without choosing you. And so when Mark Golding says, I'm giving the 500 grant, and the Prime Minister said, no, I'm madness that. Where you do? And he says 50,000 houses. And put that in the context, because I'm using context matters to talk to the people of Portland and Jamaica at large. But I start with Portland Eastern. The Jamaica Labour Party has only built 11 houses. And every time I say 11 houses, one Labourite pinch me and say, it's really not 11, it's 29. Since 1962, they've only, in a housing development, in Drapers, 11 houses. Till I see the proof that is more than 11 houses. Since 1962. And there have been many Labourite MPs. And when it comes to housing, nothing. Yeah? So let's just be true. And for those, again, let me say, because when you come on here and you are typing, because they send you over here to type and put comments, everything I'm saying, if you're incapable of saying what I'm saying is inaccurate, you're wasting your time to type it. People understand that there are persons who are typing because they're paid to do so. Earn your money, but do it so respectfully. There are no, when you are a part of Context Matters, you will realize real quick that incompetence, stupidity, fool behavior, it doesn't thrive here on Context Matters. So if you want to learn something, feel free to watch the program and re-watch it and like, subscribe, and share. For those of you who want, you can even donate to the cause. And the cause is right now the people of Portland, tablets for the kids and the very basic necessities because they're not getting it. An election is a nigh, and here it is. People don't have water in their pipes. Even with the Spark program and the Reach program or whatever program you call it, the roads, them still mash up. Respond to that. And then you have MPs telling lies that they fix roads that they could not fix. You can't even read the structure of the road. You can't even process or advocate. You can't do that. These are facts, you know. And I'm not going to let anybody come on this platform and try to shame me for being intelligent. I'm not going to let anybody tell me to dumb down. Yeah, myself. I'm not going to let anybody pretend that I'm not supposed to be proud to be an educated black man. I'm going to mash down that lie. I'm going to broke down that lie. Crocodile teeth. Everything get broke when I reach. Brrr, crash. Fishing weng weng. Yeah, you heard me. I broke it down. But let me get back to the meat of the matter. Choose Jamaica. How dare you want to give young people $500,000 a grant that them pay for? Where them gonna get it? The response is it is there because the PNP government not gonna thief the money. They're not going to be riddled by corruption. So the money is there, like in NHT. There's a whole conversation with Dean Jackson Miller, all angles, when they were younger, when the Prime Minister was the opposition. And he says when he gets in power, he's going to make legislation to ensure that the money from NHT is not taken out to do nothing else. And here we are, building root vent towers that nobody can live in, wasted money. And building high-end homes when people need to live in houses with running water and flushing toilets in 2025. When as an MP candidate, I would never believe I would be going around and people are begging zinc, block, steel to move from board houses and itch-up houses, catch-up houses to try to experience human dignity. And there's no campaign that you can make. And no matter how much time you waste taxpayers' money to drive around into constituencies after constituencies, when there are MPs and candidates and representatives and opposition persons who advocated for the houses that you were saying you're giving away, it's taxpayers' money houses. Nobody has to tell you thanks. You were to give 70,000 and you're up to date, you must reach 14,000 plus. If at all, we can say that they are completed and there are 14,000 people living in it. If you want to do something, put up a collage, put up a list of the houses and show me the 14,000 people who experience the houses that you said you built. But let us break down the lies. And let us know this, because let me tell you something. It is me and my campaign team curse me about this. I have opted not to take pictures of the children who receive tablets, 2,000 plus tablets and counting. That right here in Context Matters, I beg and the diaspora make sure say them buy tablets and them ship tablets and them send tablets and they do everything, contribute, and the tablets are here in the hands of the people. And the people have become so spoiled and entitled that them cost me when them don't get the tablets. And it's okay. As long as we can get them, the children have them. Children don't vote, so they don't cost me, but I don't have them on the platforms and in the spaces. And I don't make collage and says, hey, look at me, here are the tablets I give away. But you go on the internet and people put up picture. Oh, me ask the prime minister for a tablet and me get it. Big up the prime minister. Me ask for a laptop and me get it. And everybody say, oh, see there, the prime minister working. But education is abysmal. You know how I know it's abysmal? We have an education minister and then talk about reading and writing, but the system has filtered 450 students and drop them in Fair Prospect. Just drop them there. No desk, no chairs. Yeah? And then say they pick them duns because them can't learn. When you come out, you get up in the morning, you have to find the taxi fare and everything for go to the school. And when you reach at the school, you have to reach early and grab a desk and a chair. And make sure say any boy or any girl try to take your chair, you know say you're ready to lick them with a piece of iron pipe. And then the dean of discipline send you home and take away your bag and say you did thief it from an ex-girl or whatever. And then you have to call your mother for proof, say your bag. And while this is going on, you lose the chair. Because they don't have 450 chairs for the 450 students. But you must sit down and take your lesson. Where is the environment conducive to learning? But there's a simple answer for that. Because if the MP say you must rub out your hand miggle and don't worry about learning and that you must take the magic school bus and get to school and work is working, but you must get to school and there must be actually a place where you can be educated. Can't put it on the teachers because what them going to do when you say, sit down, little Tommy boy, sit down. Miss, me have to go look at chair. No chair no there. And she say, all right, go get the chair, but don't kill nobody in the process. And then you go there in the school, dirty and pop down and yeah, chichi name out the wall of the wood up there. Yep. Wonder how that happened. Guess those chichi don't power in chichi man car. But what we have to do? Paint the school. And we have to make sure we get the desk and the chairs and do all of those things. And I come on to context matters and then ensure that we get these things when there is a Ministry of Education. And no matter how you're out there, there's nobody that's responding. And anybody that want to say that I'm talking foolishness or chatting shit and want to use ad hominem, let me tell you something. I only speak facts. And I must remind you, I'm a competent attorney that knows the law. So anything I'm saying, disprove it. Because if you are serious about education and if you are choosing Jamaicans, you choose their kids. And to choose their children and their kids, you're going to have to make sure that they're in environments that they thrive, and they must have access to education, and they must have access to quality education. Yeah. So guess what? While we sit down and we say choose Jamaica for who? What about us? That's the question I'm asking. But I was just prompted to say that don't forget that 5 o'clock is a time signal.
That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way.
Yeah. So we are at an impasse. We are at a place where we asking the question, what about us? So I'm inviting the 63 candidates on the Jamaica Labour Party to tell us, what about us? Having said choose Jamaica and letting you know, whether by English language, whether by law, whether by literature, whether by interpretation, whether by morality, whether by reality, whether subjective or objective, whether by crime or criminology, whatever you want to use. Jamaica, when defined, speaks about the country and not the people. Inclusion must always be about the people. Inclusion must be about those who cannot advocate and speak up for themselves. And a party that wishes to speak up and wishes that there are persons to advocate for the people must choose advocates who are capable of advocating. And it must not be selective. And so while people are in a position to try to when you say, oh well, yeah, and they write in bold, it brings you, yeah. So I remember, context matters is about teaching people. I one of my biggest passions is to teach people. You have to teach people how to even be a human being. So when I see people come on your life, they don't know you from anywhere. You don't know me. I can tell you this. You don't know me. Your greatest opportunity to be in my presence is context matters. Outside of you being a member of the People's National Party and trying to engage during a political rally, no, you would not interface with me. I'm telling you that. So currently, political interest would have you here, which is why people are on here talking smack. But you don't know me. I can't tell you that. Some of you won't. But I raise it that way to say this. To be in a country that in 2025, after so many years and after a failed vision 2030, to know that one of the greatest reasons why I chose political representation is to ensure that persons remember that they're human beings, to ensure that persons know that government is about service, having conversation with the youths on the corner and persons in small spaces and at pains to explain to them that, listen, political representation is about service. But your political representatives aren't in any greater positions than your helpers and your gardeners. You are the boss and they are asking you for a job. And no matter how you tell them that, you realize the deficit that you have to overcome, which is to remind people that they're human beings. And there's a definition of what a human is. And I realize that a lot of people don't know what the definition of human being is, or even human. And so because Jamaicans have been excluded from the human race for so long, they become savages. They don't have a problem for beat a girl if she feels, say, she get disrespected, or a man doesn't have a problem killing another man because they don't appreciate the value of life. And they don't appreciate the value of life because the government don't appreciate the value of life. The government doesn't appreciate the citizen, which is why they sat in a room and say, let's say choose Jamaica, because we only care about Jamaica. We don't give a damn about the citizens. We don't give a damn about Jamaicans. And let us give them a lot of goodies and make promises that we can't keep. Because it's an election and we just need to get in. We just need a third term. That's their campaign. He said, why do you deserve a third term? Because the PMP had 18 years. Them did have 18 years. Give me 2. Me already gone 14. But there was a break. Give me a little more time. That's what they're asking for. So Humans are highly social, with individual humans tending to belong to a multi-layered network of distinct social groups, from families and peer groups to corporations and political states. As such, social interactions between humans have established a wide variety of values, social norms, languages, and traditions, collectively termed institutions, each of which bolster human society. Humans are also highly curious. The desire to understand and influence phenomena has motivated humanity's development of, here it is, science, technology, philosophy, mythology, religion, and other frameworks of knowledge. Humans also study themselves through such domains as anthropology, social science, history, psychology, and medicine. As of 2025, there are estimated to be more than 8 billion living human beings. I'm going to stop right there. Because guess what? If you think you're just there for drink, liquor, rum, and boom, and listen to dance hall, and those who love wine up themselves, listen to carnival. If you think you're just there for exist and dip on social media, acting like a jackass, you're wrong. And if you think you're just here so you can so to make up numbers and vote when the time comes, you are wrong. If you think that you're not worth more than what society is telling you, you are wrong. If you have forgotten that life is something given to us without knowing we are to receive it, and if you have forgotten that even if you don't have money, you still have life and endless possibilities. We're not dead, no dash way. If you are incapable of articulating what you want to be and giving guidance and direction how to get there, then you are wrong. If you are a part of the outcast class of persons, and who are they? They are the persons who, when they were young, they were misguided. They are the persons who were convicted where they were young, and so society has discarded them. They are the persons who never managed to take their CXCs. They are the persons who never had the opportunity to go to high school. They are the persons who wanted to be lawyers and doctors and firemen and astronauts, but when they said it, they were from a place where not even the teachers that taught them could have the vision. They are persons who simply never left the parish, the lane, and the communities that they came from. And society has told them it's over. They are the women who got pregnant in their teenage years, whether they were raped, whether they consented to the sex and the sex was unprotected, and they went into early childhood, so they didn't, early motherhood, so they didn't finish their education. They are the victims of persons who are a part of the sexual offenses registry who they can't speak up, because the Diddy effect has not reached Jamaica yet. And so the cases aren't in the court for the powerful people who has taken advantage of the young. They are the persons who applied for the job with their 13 CXCs and who applied to go to the university but weren't accepted, or weren't given the job because somebody with no subject knew somebody who knew somebody and gave them the jobs over you. Those are the outcasts who still dream big but simply have no voice and is disconnected from society because government is choosing Jamaica and not Jamaicans. They are the persons who can't go to their representatives because they chose another party, so they get no assistance. These are Jamaicans. So I just want people to understand that in your personal life and for your personal development, if you're in a country that's not choosing the citizens first, you're in a bad space. And yes, one of the biggest things that can put you into silence is shame. And the shame I'm talking about is the shame to be poor, shame to have access to the amenities that you need. Remember, we have school going on and you have young girls who don't have sanitary napkins. They don't eat. The bathroom situations in some of the schools that I've been in are not in, they're not humane, in a humane condition. And this is school. Don't need to talk about the prisons. I'm leaving that alone. But the very things that remind you that you're a human being is telling, because you don't get good mornings and you don't get basic human decency because the people are in suffrage. People are suffering but learning to hold it. Your prime minister tell you hold it. Say me I talk to someone right now and just hold it little bit. After 9 years, a full decade. A full decade comes September 3rd. Yeah? And them telling you to hold it. A generation, that's what it is. A child who was 10 is now 20. It's going to be 20. Is a part of the voting class and telling you, hold it. We are a part of the hold it society. Specifically, Black Caribbean people who, after 400 years of slavery, you are told, stop talking about the slavery. Stop pretending that your ancestors were put in a if the race of life, you were at the you weren't even at the starting line 400 years, and 400 years later, go and look around you. America threw out an old school bus and Jamaicans are celebrating it here. 16-year-old buses that have gone through testing and lawsuits that says these buses are unsafe, and many lawsuits in America, and they've discontinued them in many spaces. Yeah, and we are always behind. Nations are teaching young children as small as 5 about walking on Mars and going to the moon, and how about robotics and aerodynamics, and these children want to be medical astronauts and scientific astronauts and military astronauts, and Jamaicans are talking about run up and down and playing pastor and preacher and church. Yeah, nothing wrong with the God factor, but you can do all of that in space as well. And what we have seen and what we have heard and what we know for a fact is that Jamaicans are being left out. Right? And I want people to understand that when you are being asked to choose Jamaica, the simple response is, but what about us? And I promise you, they can't answer. Because the last time that question was answered, the Prime Minister says, hold the faith, we'll soon get to you. And if you haven't gotten to the Jamaicans in 9 years, when you are the government, when will that ever happen? And the reality is this, and I'm going to remind people about the greatness of Jamaica and why context matters. To the 2 young boys who are brothers, who has a father who is a police officer, and the hurt and pain the father felt because the same JCF has put his children through an embarrassing situation as he describes it. Remember that they are alive, but many young men their age are dead. And to the fathers who have to bury their daughters or can't find the bodies because domestic violence is real. Violence against women and children are real. And there's no answer for it. And when the prime minister said choose Jamaica, he's right. Because the women who suffer domestic violence, it mattered not to them. Even with a minister of gender affairs, said nothing about George Wright returning to parliament because they choose Jamaica, not Jamaicans. So I want people to have a good appreciation, a serious appreciation, right, of this reality. And when you're able to do so, I promise I'm gonna have the call in next week because I have 30 minutes left and I haven't finished making my point. And advocacy is this. I always said it. First, there was the Rastafarians that bust a man to say kill them all and done. Bring them in dead or alive. And there's a time people never like dreadlocks Rasta. But you see, my father, big youth, even when these things were happening, him turn a Rasta man and go on stage all over the world, Madison Square Gardens with him dreadlocks. And I respect my father so much that my identity couldn't be anything else without my dreadlocks on my head. Yeah? My second dreadlocks grow out of my head. Real here, yeah? Mine. And many people don't understand it because some of them people, them which is their right, them just grow it because it look good. But they don't know the reason, the object and purpose of the expression. They don't know why Samson's strength came from his hair. They don't know about the protection that comes with it. But I'm not going to make this conversation about Rasta or identity. Save and except for finding myself being the first Rastafarian to go to a private school, Priory in Jamaica, and ended up on the ran by white people and ended up on the yearbook cover, and then seeing a primary school, government school, chase a young child out of it because of dreadlocks. I always know that today for you, tomorrow for me. So while it is now, when young men through the states of emergencies, through extrajudicial killings, through racial profiling in Jamaica, class profiling, but it is a race profile. And it is an identity profile too. Because remember the question I asked, what should a businessman look like? Choose Jamaica and we can answer that. You must cut off all the hair off of your face. You must wear a suit even when the time hot and the AC them now working at the government building. You must ensure that you disenfranchise the poor. And when you pay them menial money. So many people, as people say, somebody say you can't get rid of the fashion dread. I would never do that. The freedom to be whatever you want to be is something I'm not taking away from anybody. And when I see people with dreadlocks, I don't assume they're Rastafarians anymore. The court says that you should never do so. But I will say though, Afro identity and anything that is natural will forever be a part of the expression that should be allowed. But the most important thing for me, I always say to myself, is to understand that forget about the Rasta. They don't like Afro identity. And then they tell the woman, if you're dark skin, wear stockings. And then they say, make sure the lipstick is a certain color. And then they said, listen, you can't come in the building and show your sleeve. You can't wear earring in the court if it's a certain size, or if you're a man, you can't wear an earring. My ear is not pierced, but where all freedom of expression works. And they regulate into a Eurocentric space. And so while everywhere else in the world, America has changed what the definition of a businessman should look like. So when you see Mark Zuckerberg, you mean him blue shirt and him gray pants and him loafers, while everybody else tell you wear your clock big boot and your suit and tie, and people realize that it is Jamaica is 30 years behind. The issues that are being ventilated in Jamaica have already been ventilated all over the world. The backward behavior and the discrimination against poor people has been ventilated all over the world. During COVID, when George Floyd died and everybody was running around that Black Lives Matter. Yeah? During that time when people were saying Black Lives Matter. I'm saying COVID, but it happened so long ago, I don't even know when that happened. But here in Jamaica, the year starts off with extrajudicial killings, like it's nothing. Overwhelmed, and the young man, Andrew, that died in Laverne Tavern, and he was a businessman and he had a store, and they went in and the police just put they got the pillow over him head, put him girlfriend in the kitchen and shoot him with the pillow. No body camera. I haven't even called back the family when the JCF writes me back to reiterate the circumstances of which he died. And I feel like when people in them bed 3 a.m., 5 a.m. and police go there and kick off door and then say it's shootout, we all know it's murder. We all know that he didn't go there to have a conversation with a man who is in sleep with them woman in a them bed, them time of night there. In fact, if you go people house after 12 o'clock, or something else you want, and it's nothing that includes daylight behavior. Let me put it that way. That's my opinion, though. Freedom of expression is mine. And for the many other people, just know it was ventilated, and those officers through body cam went to prison. And Breonna Taylor, and I could call the names. This happened in America, and it used to happen in France, and it used to happen always. It used to happen in other countries. So Jamaica is years behind. And we have issues about not needing the body cam. But we know George Floyd's video, Breonna Taylor's shooting, many other cases where video evidence has prosecuted police, even after the police say that their behavior was okay. And the direction, choose Jamaica. When the Minister of Security says shoot first and ask that later, that's choosing Jamaica or Jamaicans. What about us? When the Prime Minister said meet your judge or meet your maker? When you wear blue in support of unjustified killings? When people say let us protest about the appointment of a citizen and the response is go there, all 15 of you, and counter protests. And Derek Lewis says 1 murder in Montego Bay for the month of May, but there are 14 parishes. Yeah. And when we try to celebrate nonsensical realities, a high crime society is Jamaica. And this is behavior that could have been eradicated by improving the education system, and that has not even started yet, even under the reduction of reported murders or whatever. And I'm saying, one life saved, one life lost. Do we celebrate? Do we feel better? Because in the first place, there shouldn't be murders at all. Yeah? So if you are thinking that is an achievement, you're simply an idiot. The statistics and the reality that Jamaica is a high crime society seems to suggest that persons are celebrating a band-aid fix and have not addressed the fact that, yeah, maybe the murders are down because the police are killing the people who would kill the people. But you see, the justice system is a workable system. And if we're to improve what we're doing, the response cannot be criminality, crime. Crime doesn't, using crime to start to suppress crime is not a solution. And police killing innocent people, isn't that murder? I'm not accusing the police of murdering citizens. I'm simply saying government is to decide if they're choosing Jamaicans or choosing Jamaica. Because if you think killing all the unattached youth and killing all the youths that not wearing a suit and killing all the ghetto youth, them that drinking rum and boom and on the corner and hustling when night come, yeah? And if you think killing all the youth them in Jamaica that have illegal firearms is the solution, then you're wrong. There are young kids in classrooms that are breeding murder right now, and them only reach 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. And teachers are running them out of class because they simply don't get paid enough. And because we're not white kids, and because we're not rich kids, they don't say, and because our names are not Timothy and Lance and Alex, yes, and Scott, they're not saying what is wrong with you. And they're not getting the psychologist to find out what is happening in the home, like sexual molestation, like witnessing violence in the community. Yeah, escaping the realities that, hey, I'm 6 and I come to school, and what's wrong with you, Umbutu, since we can't call you Alex? Oh, you know, miss, last night the police killed my brother. He's just 16 and him get 16 shots in him head, and them say him is the area done. Yeah, and they said they found him with 16 guns. And then I saw my father crying. And you know, over the weekend they killed my father too. And say him was the area done too. And so yes, I'm 6, but I've experienced my mother crying, and I don't know where my brother is, and I love my father and he's dead. But no, little Alex is misbehaving, throw him out of the class or take him to another school because he's disrupting the rest of the class. And then the rest of them who go in a taxi, and then the taxi overturned. And everybody suffers trauma, and we don't have the facilities. We don't have a healthcare system that responds to trauma. Because we don't have ambulances, and we don't have hospitals that can save lives. Oh, look, I just happened to say Ubuntu, and somebody is Ubuntu. Big up yourself. But yeah, I just think that when we say choose Jamaica, what about us? So here's where I say the solution is. If it is that you're not suffering and you're not struggling, if you got 13 CXC subjects, like a young man from Titchfield who wins school challenge quiz, and September used to go to law school, but everybody says defer because you don't have the money, and he's probably the brightest child graduating right now. and most popular. If you're choosing Jamaicans, where's the scholarship for him to ensure that he's an attorney, to ensure that he can advocate to people? But fret not thyself. He must go law school. I said it, so it must happen, no matter what. Because I choose Jamaicans over Jamaica. Because when you choose Jamaicans, they will represent Jamaica. And if each of us are the best versions of ourselves, we won't have any problems. We won't shame. We won't only need Bolt to be the ambassador when he already was the ambassador. And when we're choosing Jamaicans instead of Jamaica, we'll respect people enough to not misspell the name of Shelley and Fraser Price. Because the people who are in the positions sometimes give them the work. And because they're choosing Jamaica and they're so excited about the media, they don't even spell check somebody's name. The heights of disrespect. So you see, when you choose people, when you choose citizens, and you choose Jamaicans, we won't get it wrong because we'll respect the least among us. We'll respect everybody. Yes? That is what is important. And so the beauty about it is this: when and somebody say a PNP misspell the legend name, and somehow they think that that answers the fact. And a PNP said choose Jamaica. And so we wonder sometimes, we nitpick at the stupidness. So when somebody is dunce, here's the response: PNP dunce too. And when a media personnel goes out and says, so tell me, why you here protesting? And never said, tell me, did you go to Immaculate High School? Big up Diane Smith. May your soul rest in peace. Did you go to Campion? Did you finish high school? Did you write this plaque yourself? Are you out here because you're an idiot? And set up for sensationalism to embarrass. But the same news reporter don't go to the MP candidates and the members of parliaments who can't read and write and who are on political platforms because they chose to be and are not competent to do so. And so they can't beautiful speak because the only thing beautiful is probably their face, but certainly not their mind, and certainly not their ability or capacity. And so you do a whole media piece to embarrass Jamaicans as an ad hominem attack. You attack the person because they know, just like before we knew, before I'm proud of myself to say it, before defending the Constitution and educating people about constitutional rights, Jamaicans used to say we want justice. And now them say, me know me constitutional rights. But government and the people who choose Jamaica say, which constitutional right was violated since you know the Constitution? When them don't know it themselves, But people now come into the awareness and no, we're not all educated. No, we can't all articulate. Yes, we understand this. But do you embarrass those who never put themselves up for political representation? Because they want to be a part of something and says, there is a protest. I want to be a part of something. I want to include myself. And they say, give me the placard and see it here. Do me want to be a part of it? I can't read and write, so I'm going to put it up on it upside down. And if you choose Jamaicans and you're going to video them, you said, baby love, turn it the right way. And let me not make you the subject and the object of something greater. Let me not put you to embarrassment because I don't know your mental disposition. But when you choose Jamaicans, you think about them, the least among us. And because we're not selling news and we're not selling paperwork, we don't go around and finding the people them that don't have teeth in their mouth and putting the mic in them so they can be the bite of the week. Because they didn't put themselves up for representation of politics. But when it's your favorite friend that you are teaching voice, speech, and everything, you edit videos. So when them say instructor, when they say instructor, there's not a news piece of the inability to say infrastructure, but rather we go back to society and we disrespect black women because they're not white or their skin is fair, and we humiliate citizens because they don't get the opportunity like us, and we dehumanize us because we're trying to be a part of something, because we follow a party that includes us and say we choose Jamaicans. And so there can be nothing greater than taking this opportunity and using my platform to put something profound in context. Anybody that one runs around, including, and I'm saying this, labor rights, we love every last one of you, even when they disrespect me. And me now see you and pass you. And there's no word in the English language that you could use that could even ruffle a bone in my body. Yeah? But I must say this to you. Whether you can read and write or not, and no matter how you love your party, when they give you the armbands and the shirts that say choose Jamaica, they're asking you to exclude yourself. There's no professor at any university that can flip it and reverse it and turn it to say choose Jamaica means anything other than excluding yourself. Means anything other than wait and hold it until Jamaica has reached a place, then maybe you can get something. Asking you to exclude the fact that your grandmothers and your and senior citizens get a benefit such as fixed water rates, and say choose against that. Choose Jamaica and don't allow old people to get a benefit. Choose Jamaica and don't allow young people to live in their houses when them work a little money. Did anybody ever tell you that you don't have to have a solid job to show NHT? That you can show your NHT, and when 2 years pass and the money start add up, you qualify, and because you have bank account NHT, still have to give you the loan. And you work, everybody must work harder and get a piece of this land, get a piece of Jamaica. So as a Jamaican, when you choose Jamaicans, are you fit own Jamaica? So when them cut up Navy Island and when them exclude you from Blue Lagoon and Fair Prospect and Sanko Bay and Sansan and Winifred Beach and Boston Beach and Ghana all the way up to Manchineel and Hector's River, anywhere the coastline there, and then coming to talk about them going to, after Mark Golding say, oh, beach access for everybody because the beach belongs to Jamaica, just like in Barbados and St. Vincent, and everybody, if you're an island boy and an island girl, anytime your head hurt, you can jump and go in at the beach. You know, I went to St. Mary today, Port Maria. I'm going to go to court. And the courthouse there, they say, yo, the courthouse is like a resort. So it's like when you go into the court and the judge said, pay the ticket, you just go right to the beach. You don't even have to jump off or truck off. You never feel bad. You say, what? Just tell me to pay the ticket. And you just see the beauty of the country and you're reminded that there's more to life than the stress and the hurt and the pain. It's part of the game. But I'm simply saying to all Jamaicans, PNP, JLP, Jamaicans, whether you decide that you're going to vote or somebody said the truck didn't make noise. Donna, you know something? You go like you choose Jamaica, you know, because all you hear the truck over what I'm saying. Yeah, if you want to be a part of something great, be a part of the people. If you want to, if you're not in Jamaica, you're a part of the diaspora and you want better for your country, want better for the people. When there's an initiative and walking in the divine purpose, big up to you. She had a surgery, so she did say she wasn't going to be here today. So you might not see the GoFundMe and you might not see all the other things that she's usually saying. And that's why she hasn't blocked any of the people that's being disrespectful. Yeah, what I would say to you is anytime you want something better for the country, it must be that you want it for the people. If you enable the people to be empowered, to have financial independence, to transcend the first levels of the Maslow's laws of hierarchy, that is food, clothes, and shelter. The shelter issue mean that the shelter that you in must have running water and you must have a flushing toilet and water must in the pipe. And this thing about, the sad thing about it, let me tell you something. Money, it's nice to have money, But you see, if you ever, money is weaponized in every society. Money is weaponized in every society. But what people can't take away from you, and I'm just talking to the regular, ordinary person. If God made you beautiful, they can't take that from you. All when life hard, if God blessed you, they can't take that from you. Oftentimes, the only thing that separate us from other people is that they have money. And Jamaica has figured that out. Right? And that is it. Jesus says, love thy neighbor as thyself. So in his beatitude, I think that's the same thing in the commandments. But when a man kill another man, it's because he don't love himself. Same thing. And when I say man, woman, if you can get up and kill somebody, you don't love yourself. Because if you love your neighbors, you love yourself. But then somebody's gonna say, who is thy neighbor? That's probably another conversation to have. But I'm gonna end Context Matters by saying that big up yourself, all who saying hello. That when all of the campaign and the fluffing and the party excitement is done, and when it's time to vote, you're gonna have to ask yourself, am I okay? Because if you're not, this government has failed you. Can I go to the supermarket and buy all the things I need for my children and myself, my sisters and my brothers? Then yeah, if you can't do that, you're choosing Jamaica and not choosing Jamaicans and yourself. If you can't help somebody and not in a position to do so, because cost of living is high, the US dollar is high, we are slaves to the US dollar. No matter what they say the economy is, if you wake up tomorrow, I had $100,000 and dollar used to be 150 to 1, and then it went 155, 158. No, it's straddling 160 and counting. It means that $100,000 has, at a minimum, if it's the math, however you do it, is no longer $100,000, because you, in fact, to live your life as a 1,000 US dollar. So if you save up your money, like the finance minister said, And when you're done save it after 3 years, you can't get $1,000 in your pocket, 1,000 US. You can appreciate what has happened. Because if you're saving for 3 years and the dollar was at 150 to 1, and when the 3 years end, it is at 160, dog, name your supper. Simple like that. Because the business owners is going to say cost of living gone up. So when KFC was for $1,000 for a meal deal and it turned $1,500, cost of living gone up. And that is the simple reality. And so, in conclusion, I am always say, and I say this all the time, and I'm going to share with you because many people don't understand. You see the unattached youth, you see the excluded Jamaica. Jamaica exists in two spaces. And you see the disconnected individuals who police are look for kill, and the families who are heartbroken because of that. And the youths with 13 subjects and 14 subjects, but your parents don't have the money. And even if you get student loan, it won't be enough to get you where you need to get. It is society who is failing you. So when you have a very intelligent young woman and she's working in a bar because she can't do nothing else right now, there are no opportunities because economies are dead. The economy is dead right across Jamaica in many spaces. And even when the road pretty and everything look like it going good and the hotels are booming and the tourists are coming, just remember the tourists are coming in here. People who work on garbage truck in America and people who are sweep yard in England and are clean as some nurses and are clean people derriere and I take care of all people in other countries. Them save up and them can come to Jamaica on the packages. And because the US dollar so high and the pound 260. We never talk about the pound, because of these realities. You tend to find immediately, because of these realities, that naturally, you are excluded. It is you who must understand that when you're choosing Jamaicans, you're choosing yourself, you're choosing your community. And so for those people, I heard you when you say, oh, build my community center MP candidate. And anybody build my community center. You're choosing community, you're choosing the people in your community. And realize that that is not a political ploy. That is choosing Jamaicans. And so you see, for you who are wherever you are in Jamaica, this is your reality. If you are not managing now, your only choice is the People's National Party to rescue Jamaica. And for those who fall victim to the race card, I can tell you this. Love who love you and choose who choose you. And so when you choose change, you're choosing Jamaicans. And for anybody, I can tell you this. The choice is a simple one, especially for Portland Eastern. If you want to keep the land that you're living on, if you're in Norwich Heights and you want to believe that the lies that the MP fixed the road when she didn't, but at the same time, there's a big problem because the lands that are allocated for community centers for the Jamaicans and the citizens and recreational areas have been sold. And when a Navy Island has been subdivided, and when Fair Prospect Beach, no trespassing signs are up because there is future development that excludes Jamaicans. The choice is simple. You rescue Jamaicans. Yes? Rescue Jamaicans. Save Jamaica by choosing Jamaicans. And if you choose Jamaicans, as in the people, then naturally you're going to choose me. And when you choose me, you choose the People's National Party. And when you choose change, that is Mark Golding and the People's National Parties. And it's the change from Jamaica to Jamaicans. It's as simple as that. So all of this campaign, wordplay and media blitz, the media practitioners are campaigning for their lives. Some of them lick $100,000 here and there. What them get? It done. Belch it off. When the government change it, done. Because the people who are deserving of humanity and basic human dignity, the people that is you. And so, remember, do not be deceived by catchy phrases. Because remember, don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. Don't be afraid to do what is right. And it's a simple thing. If you're not suffering, and if your life is so great that what the status quo can remain the same, and you see a future for your kids, one where you don't need tablets, and you don't need a better education system, and you don't need a hospital that is a type, and so you're probably comfortable because you're good with the MP for go down to the office and beg for get the MRI pay for, and if you need a couple sheet of zinc, you go beg it, and then check your ID for see if you're labor right. If you're good with that type of life, and you're good with suffering, then you don't have to choose the People's National Party. But you see, if you want better for your life and better for your kids, and you want better for the Jamaican man, woman, child, if you want that, the choice is simple. Choose Jamaicans. Time come now to choose change. And always remember, if you need a big bad lawyer, Isaac Buchanan is your man. Understand? Yeah. So I'm going to see you guys next week. That is it. What about us? If you can answer that question, labor rights was here a lot on this live. Yeah. You can send me a message and tell me, answer it. What about us? Because the us includes you. Choose Jamaicans. That's what choose change means. Blessings. Yep.
It took some time to understand. Yeah. Just what it takes to be a man. Now it seems each day you learn something to make a better way. Growing up ain't just a phase, it's reality. And sometimes it's hard to face the world with your head screwed on. But in time you will see, it comes naturally, like the hurt and the pain. It's a part of the game. It's all a part of life, to laugh and to cry. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. Though I heard them say life much better you live it your own way. But if you need a helping hand, just call on me, I will be your friend. And when it gets hard to face the world with your head screwed on, just tell yourself you can. And that's when you'll understand that the hurt and the pain, it's a part of the game. It's all a part of life, to laugh and to cry. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. You gotta keep on moving they try to bring you down, we gotta take it to the next level when they come around. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. Just keep your head up, yeah. Just keep your head up, yeah. Gotta keep your